Pretty cool for your first preseason game to go out there. The Panthers on the other side. I'm sure he grew up watching them. We saw on draft day his brothers giving him a hard time.
Right then and there, you talk Drake May, Bailey Zappe comes in. And guys, if you've never been to Foxborough, you probably don't understand this, but for some reason they're booing Bailey Zappe in the first preseason game as he enters on the field to play quarterback.
Cheered him a year ago. So the big thing Jerron Mayo has talked about as camp has gone on is the reps, quality reps. He said, don't get stuck with, oh, this guy got 10 and this guy got 5. It's what you do with that 5. If you do well with the 5, we're going to give you more. We're going to give you 10 maybe next time. So this is a big opportunity for Zappe too. Where does he fit in? Are they going to keep 3? Are they going to keep 4? Are they going to keep 2 and try and slide somebody to the practice squad?
And that makes so much sense, though, because you know, people go to practice every day and they talk about the reps, but as a coaching staff, sometimes you decide to practice reps because you know who's going to get the reps in the game. And I think this is a situation where Zappe might not have got as many reps as somebody else earlier in the week in practice, but then now he jumps in the game and he'll probably get a lot of reps, maybe all the way until halftime. We'll see, but it looks like he's going to get some reps tonight.
Now, for you guys, did you want to see more out of Drake May? Would you have liked to see another series? Are you okay with the few plays?
No, I thought they protected him pretty well. I mean, the one where he flipped it out to the left side, the pocket broke down, but for the most part, it was good.
And I think some of that has to do with how long do you want to play David Andrews? How long do you want to play Michael Ewing? And I don't think they wanted to put Drake May in there without those guys on the field.
Well, go ahead, Sop.
No, go ahead. But like Zappe right there, like a little bit of a gunslinger. Like, I got Polk on there. I got the second-round pick, Jalen Polk, out there split to the left. That's 2 back-to-back quick throws out there, setting them up in 1st and 10 inside the 42.
And the one thing that has been said about Jalen Polk is he's been consistent all training camp, and he's a big body guy coming out of Washington, and he's a guy that I think for these quarterbacks, they know they can rely on that he's going to be in the right spot. As Zappe gets the ball, drops it, picks it up, and he does what Zappe did a year ago, where he comes in and just excites the crowd.
They're cheering him now.
It doesn't take much to change the crowd here in New England. I witnessed it for 13 years. I've seen Tom Brady get booed a couple times. But Zappe, they always talk about this as a defense. When a quarterback drops the ball, you got to stay ready because plays sometimes break down, and Zappe does a good job not panicking, picks up the ball, looks down the field, nothing's open. He finds an open gap and picks up positive yards.
All right, Brian, I spent 9 years as a backup. You've been a starter. You bounced around. You've been on multiple teams.
On the offense,
how tough is it for a guy like Bailey Zappe?
Penalty, second down.
How tough is it for a guy like Bailey Zappe who wants to play, but realizes, you get the number 3 pick. They went out, they signed Jacoby Brissett to be that veteran. Where does he fit in here?
Yeah, I think I've been in similar situations, right? You just don't know how it's going to fit in. But also, I think, I remember being a player and Coach Belichick being, basically saying, look, you're playing for us, but you're also auditioning for 31 other teams out there. So, for Zappe to come out and execute some plays, that's good film. And does he end up here? Maybe he does. But if not, at least you want to go out there and play as good as you can to show the league that you can be, a productive player somewhere else.
So it's coming back.
Yeah, so I'll say this about Bailey Zappe, and it is a tough situation. Obviously, he sees the writing on the wall, and he has done and said all the right things. Yeah. And, for me, from afar, and I've talked to you guys a little bit about this, I'd be surprised if he's still here sort of at the end of camp, and the fact that he hasn't really asked to go somewhere else, I think, is a testament to his professionalism. I think he's really handled it well. It can't be an easy situation for him.
He's out there early. The practices I've been to, he's out there late. The one-on-ones, the individuals, and Brian, this, like, he's accurate. Like, it's methodical, but you don't see a ton of reps in practice because they're trying to get Jacoby and eventually Drake ready.
Right, and like you said, it's the quality of the reps. It's not the amount of reps. So if you get 5 reps, you just try to get 5 quality reps, and then now here's your chance. You're going to get a lot of playing time. When you're in Bailey's situation, we talked about it, with this offensive line. They don't want Drake and Jacoby playing, so you're going to play a lot. So go out there and execute and let the chips fall where they may.
And plays like that one right there for Bailey Zappe. We mentioned Joe Milton, we mentioned Drake May. for Zappe, he gets in there, he sees it, he motions him out to empty, he checks the play at the line of scrimmage, and he gets him into an efficient play. Like, those are the things for Zappe. Like, you're looked at as one of the veterans in the room. You're still extremely young yourself, but you're looked at it, and you have to pick this offense up and be able to do it better than the rookies because, Dev, you know it, in this league, if there's a guy younger than you and he's just as good as you, they're going to keep the younger guy. So this is a great opportunity for him to showcase not only his ability of making plays, but also his smarts with picking up the offense.
3rd and 14.
And it's another one. We keep talking about these long yardage situations. I think they got to get back to trying to run this football as Jalen Reagor falls on the play. Looks to the sideline for a flag.
But there's 2 penalties on this drive. And you have 2 penalties, you have a holding, you have a false start. Like, those are the things that Gerard Mayo said that he wants to see clean. As we're watching Reagor right here, he felt like he got pulled down as the left hand of the DB right there was on his back. There's no call on this one. Ooh. That one should have been a penalty right there. A little helmet-to-helmet contact on Bailey Zappe.
Yeah, Calvin Anderson is back. He had malaria. His return. Fedarian Lowe is still here. And he's gotten all the reps at left tackle this week. So they're shuffling a lot of bodies in and out.
And they're trying to figure out the right combination of what it's going to be. You haven't even mentioned the rookie Caden Wallace, who's seen some time at tackle as well in training camp. And it's been a revolving door for them. The one consistent has been, you've seen the middle of it. It's been Michael Wynn, it's been Sidney Soul, it's been David Andrews in the interior of that offensive line. But the one thing, Dev, that we got to remember, Big Michael Winu, he's a guy that has versatility. They can always decide, you know what, we're going to just move him to tackle and figure out what are going to be our best 5 to put out there as the offensive line.
And Gerard Mayo talked about that. That's what they're searching for. He didn't come in and talk about we have all the answers and we know. This game, next game, they're trying to find what that best 5 is. And I think Michael Owenu going back outside the right tackle possibly could be a part of being the best 5. They paid him like a tackle, so there's a chance that I think that they view, hey, if we have to, we can move him outside if that gives us the best 5. We're seeing Michael Jordan play tonight inside at guard. Maybe he shows up on film that he had a great game, and they say, you know what, maybe we'll bump him inside and we'll move Big Mike back outside. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. That during these preseason games as a quarterback, to keep getting the plays in your ear and kind of still getting all those mental reps.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before. This is, for these young guys, first time really having to hear these plays, call them back. So, you know, for me, I always remember, I always keep my helmet on because that's even more realistic. And you listen to plays, and then as you're watching, you're like, what am I going to do on this play? And play it out yourself.
It's nice little flip by Zappe right there. Breaks containment, slides up.
And that's what Zappe has. He has a little bit of a playmaker in him. He could have ran and picked up this first down, but he said, hey, let me see if I can kick it out to Booty and see if he can go make more yards than I can. So a really good play, and I think this could hopefully get this offense in rhythm to have a good drive and put some points on the board.
He's kind of uncanny a little bit. Like, people forget how productive he was in college.
Yep.
Good run.
So that gets your 5 right there. You know, we spoke with Kevin Harris yesterday, and you know the point of emphasis here is they got to be able to grind it out. You know, Ramondre's got to be big. If Kevin gets in the game, he's got to be able to get you 4. I think they like running behind Owenu. And Brian, with these tackles and how this thing's playing out with Owenu inside, I wonder if they like Andrews in the middle, David Andrews, Sidney So left guard, Mike Owenu right guard. Because I go back to when Tom was here, Tom would tell me, I don't like people in the middle at my feet. Yep. I can handle edge as long as I can see it. It's the stuff in the middle that I can't take care of.
Yeah, for so many years, the inside of the pocket was so, you know, integral to how Tom played. And I think the one thing I know we talked about, you know, who's going to be the tackles. The one thing is you can always help out the tackles a little bit with an extra tight end or the back chipping a defensive end. It's harder to help those interior guys. So if you have a solid interior and you could step up into the pocket, you run the outside rush by and try to play like that. I think that, you know, figuring out how to help a tackle is much easier than if you have an issue at guard or center.
Yeah, there's a double in cut to that left side. I think Baker rolled that route a little bit, made it easier for the defensive back to break on that ball.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that, guys, particularly the quarterback. You'd like to see him maybe come back for that one a little bit more and get the inside leverage,
He lost it.
Yeah, Paul, when you look at that route and you're watching the DB, the one thing he was never was threatened by Baker to run by him. So he starts to slow down out of his back pedal when he broke up that in cut. And then right here, I like the decision to try to go back to him and let him make a play. The ball's just nowhere to be found.
He tried to back.
Come on, man, do your research. Number 30 out there getting it done.
Zappe goes short there, but you can see after a big return, the Patriots look to try to go down the field. They had 3 routes streaking down the field. No one was open, so Zappe just tried to throw it underneath to Wilcox. Doesn't work out, but you can see the aggressive nature of, hey, we haven't had a lot of movement as an offense. Walls gets us a nice return. Let's try to take advantage of it by putting 6 on the board.
You got to love that, though. Like, look at Dietrich Wise, Jabril Peppers, all of those guys celebrating with Wallace on the sideline after he has a big return. That's the stuff that you love. They're spitting out their sunflower seeds, but still cheering on their guys.
Tough shot right there. Pressure look here for Zappe. Try to get it to the back. Had to ground it.
We might be finding a new star of the preseason for the Patriots with Wallace. You can see making plays. And this is a tough thing. After that great return, you decide to try to take a shot down the field. It doesn't work out. So it comes 2nd and 10. Then you throw another pass.
And it's pressure.
Exactly. Now it's 3rd and 10. Puts a little bit of pressure, but I think this is some of the situations Van Pelt, he probably wants to get some work out of it in the preseason. Maybe not this much, but it's showing up.
Let's see Baker down the bottom.
Got hit. Nice catch. Deshaun Booty with the snag. He had 2 big catches from Drake May in the red zone period this past week. It's a 28-yard throw to the left side. I thought Bailey Zappe got hit here as he's thrown it. Nope.
In the NFL, that's a pretty clean pocket where you can step up in the what we call the B gap to your left side. We're over here talking about the offensive line, the protection. But Keishawn Booty, a great all-hands catch to pick up a big first down.
Showing off the hands in the rain.
Changing play again. Hey, Brian Hoyer, when he brings Polk in and he calls out a number, I think he said what, 27. Is he telling him to block him? Is that part of this scheme?
Yeah, you got to block force. I know Devin, being a safety, you come down to that box, someone's got to account for you, or else he's going to have a free run at the running back. So I think Bailey right there, hey, Polk, come down. You got to block this safety for us to be able to not have a free runner on that gap scheme play right there.
And you can see as Kevin Harris had given the ball. Kevin Harris talked to us yesterday about this offense. When you get the ball in your hands, you're just looking at the gap. And if one gap gets cut off, you go to the next gap. That gap gets cut off. You find the end zone and you score a touchdown, Kevin Harris. That's what I'm talking about. And he said he knows they want to run the ball. Let's go.
You forget. They really don't hit in practice. You guys remember, like, with the new rules with the league and the NFLPA.
So it's kind of where for Gerard Mayo, you're trying to balance it and make sure the guys are getting some work, but you're keeping them healthy and making sure you're playing in the best you can for the season.
And you're still evaluating guys. You're still evaluating Bailey Zappe. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of Joe Milton in the second half because you're still evaluating him as well.
Yeah, he's tackled here, keeps the clock running. You're down to 3:41 in the first half. You have an opportunity here potentially have a live 2-minute drill.
Yep. And everybody practices this in practice. You go through your 2-minute drill, but you don't always get a chance to do it in a game. And I know every coach hopes in a preseason game that you get a chance to run a real live 2-minute drill. So we'll see it right here with Bailey Zappe.
There's Joe Milton, who you were talking about. Big guy. Look at the arms.
And we're going to be excited to see a little bit of him in the second half because I can't wait to just see his first play. He talked about being at Michigan and Jim Harbaugh telling him a story about how Jim Harbaugh was just so excited. He celebrated that his first play was a successful play. Everybody did the right thing, and they got the ball out of his hands. So I can't wait to see what Joe Milton's first play looks like.
Get that? Oh, we got it. It's a good grab on Wilcox there. If he goes down here, see if he gets the hands underneath.
Let's see if they rush to the ball, just in case.
I think he got it.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Really good job by him. And Dev, you mentioned rushing to the ball, and that happens all the time. As you see, as the clock is rolling, we're getting close to that 2 minutes, because you want to make sure if it is a close one, you're on the ball quick before they can challenge it.
Yeah, and now that they know it's a catch, it looks like they're going to be patient, let this thing go down to the 2-minute warning.
All right, 2 minutes till halftime. See if the Patriots take a shot here. We'll be right back. Wait a minute, we have a challenge flag. And what people fail to notice, like, okay, Alex Van Pelt is your coordinator. You still have T.C. McCartney, quarterback coach. Evan Rothstein's still here. Ben McAdoo was brought in to sort of kind of oversee the whole offense. So you really have 4 guys working that quarterback room. You guys don't remember, you guys have no clue how easy we've had it with the iPads and Microsoft Surface. They can flip that around. No, you guys get on a flight. Like, I travel with the team, and I see you guys get handed these tablets. An hour after the game, they flip the film over. I used to cut it up by hand with Jimmy D. We would split up on an overhead screen. Like, that's what we did.
And we're not that young. We had the big binders that you had to carry around and put in your book bag. And Coach Belichick used to make sure you had your binder with you on the road. Kayshon Boutte's showing up again.
I'll tell you what. So as I said, Booty made a couple catches this week. And as this receiver depth chart shakes down, are they going to keep 5? Are they going to keep 6? Are they going to squeeze somebody in the practice squad? You know, he's right in that area. And you keep making plays like that. Remember the one in Green Bay last year, the slant he took for the touchdown.
And that's the hardest thing in training camp mentally for these guys right now, because it's so hard to warn against looking at the roster and looking at the depth chart. You got 2 rookie wide receivers and Baker and Polk. They're not going anywhere. Pop Douglas is a guy that jumps off the film when he's out there with his quickness and his speed. He's not going anywhere. It's a big hit coming across the middle as he holds on to that one. And then you bring in a guy like KJ Osborne. And you also have KB's on the side, Kendrick Bourne, who's going through an injury right now. So there's only but so many roster spots, but the only thing you can do is what Boutte's doing is making plays out there as Zappe's getting his 2-minute drill rolling.
Zappe in a little bit of rhythm here. He hit that 16-yarder to Booty to get you the first down there. Hit Wilcox on a little flat route to the left.
And I think one of the key things you talked about, this 2-minute drill, is good for the players, but it's really good for Alex Van Pelt. You haven't done a 2-minute drill since last season, so to get back in the rhythm of calling plays, calling the right plays, getting guys that are in rhythm like Boutte and maybe getting them the ball again. So this is just a good moment even for the coaching staff.
That's going to kill the clock. You know, coming into this game, I thought, just based on, you know, conversations we had, that it would be Zappe that would really get the reps that he's gotten here tonight.
Operation, and then obviously looking forward to see Joe Milton.
Yeah, and one of the things, though, here, we talk a lot about Drake May and the rookies. You do have a couple of your rookie class up here on the offensive line. Caden Wallace is out there. I think Layden Robinson's out there. So you get a chance to see a little bit of your rookie class and see how they're holding up.
Nice catch by Baker.
There's another one of the rookie class.
Yeah,
climbs the ladder.
Penalty.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought Polk caught the ball. Strong hands. Those catches were contested.
Yeah, and so we saw that throughout the 11 days that we got a chance to see. If he gets his hands on it, he generally catches it. He's one of those really physical guys. It's just a penalty on both sides. Holding on both sides. Again, so my whole point about trying to be a little bit cleaner, first play, first snap of the second half, you get another flag.
And really negates a first down. Throw to Baker where you get the chains moving, coming right out of the half. So this is something they got to work on, and Hoyer said it. When you start behind with penalties, it really makes it hard to have a sustainable drive.
Yep, holding both ways.
And again, I know the offensive line, not the most glamorous spot, right? But they need a backup center. Jake Andrews, you guys profiled when you did the medical reports earlier in the game. Jake Andrews was probably going to be the backup center. He's out for the season. They need a guy. Mafi's out there right now, second-year guy. He's really struggled snapping the ball. I think they're trying to force feed him into being that backup center. Nick Leverett, we got a chance to see a little bit. They need somebody behind David Andrews.
That's a tough one right there. Michael Jordan pulling from right to left. Misses the block right in the hole.
Yeah, and having played in this system, the center is such an important piece because, in other systems, the quarterback's in charge of making the calls, and in this system, that center has to make those calls. So you really need to come up with someone in case something happens to David Andrews that can really fill in.
And I think that is one of the good things about the preseason is we talked to Jacoby Brissett. He talked about there's been a lot of different combinations up front. So right now it might not look ideal, but what you're hoping for is that you're building versatility. You're building depth, that at some point these guys can play different positions. You just said Mafi's playing center. He struggled a little bit, but you're hoping maybe in September, October, he can develop into that backup center that if anything does happen to David, he can step up and play.
3rd and 2. That's coming for it. Oh, that's a good ball.
Really
Rudy had a chance. Is that really the one you want on 3rd and 2, though? That's something you look down the road. I know it's preseason. You're nitpicking here. They're not game planning, but.
Hoyer, what do you think? You were always the guy in practice.
Duck.
It was 3rd and 2, and you throw a 40-yard fade route down the sideline.
Hey, man, Zoe said it. It's preseason. It looked like man coverage. In all honesty, that's always going to be your best chance to hit one of those little fades. And so
with what they need, and we were just talking about it, some of that came from extending guys and giving out new contracts, and they've done that.
Definitely, and you're talking about the change that we're seeing, some of those people in leadership positions. Some of the things that haven't changed were some of the guys that have made plays on this roster. David Andrews gets an extension. They make sure that Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers are shoring up the secondary. We watched Gottschall kind of going through whether a hold in or whatever it was, but they make sure that they take care of him. So many different guys, since Elliott Wolf has taken over, they've shored up to keep those guys around here.
Fans get impatient because they want new guys. They want the big free agent to come in. If you don't sign these guys back, you got to replace them. And it also sends a message to your locker room. And Deb, I remember when they told you to go out, check it out, see what free agency's like. You came back. Glad you came back. But it sends a message that if you play well here and you like it here and we draft you and we develop you, we're going to sign you back and you're going to make money.
And that's always the interesting thing. Everyone gets excited about the free agent signings, right? Or Brandon Ayuk's name has been everywhere and everyone's like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You could offer, it looks like all the reports is, you offered the right money, you want everything. He didn't want to come here. His team knows, hey, we're building, we got to get better, we got to make it more attractive, all of those good things. But for right now, we're a team. We recognize who our good players are, we bring them back. We draft them, we develop them, and then we keep them here. That's how you build. The times I was here when we won Super Bowls, it was having guys, drafting them, developing them, and then allowing them to go out and their best years be for the New England Patriots.
All right, let's bring in Paul Perillo. Paul, state of the building right now.
Yeah, it's culture guys, right? It's guys that Gerard Mayo feels comfortable with and that he knows and he understands are going to do the things that he's looking for. And I think that's why you saw so many guys like Kyle Duggar and Michael Wenyu. Those guys were valuable re-signings, and I do agree. And I am, believe me,
those are leadership guys in the locker room. A David Andrews, a Mike Onwenu, guys that bring more to the table than just what you see on the field. And so to take care of your own guys, I think, like they were saying up top, people who come in, they realize if I do what I'm supposed to do, they're going to take care of it.
Yeah, you guys mentioned the Ayuk stuff too. I mean, it's Calvin Ridley too. Elliott said we need to weaponize this offense, and you start that by bringing back Hunter Henry, getting your tackle lined up, getting your center, your all-world center back, and then you made a run at two guys that are, top of the market. Tough landing on that shoulder right there for Bailey Zappe.
Yeah, that hurts.
Ooh.
And you can see the pressure right there was off both edges. Both tackles got beat, and Zappe, you probably know more than I do, Zoe and Hoyer, looks like he was a little deeper in the pocket, so that makes it even harder for these tackles to try to block these defensive ends.
And Zoe, to hit on what you're talking about for Elliott Wolf, and you guys are talking about as a flag comes out here, and we'll wait to see what the call is going to be on this one.
It's got to be a delay.
On the offense, it's a 5-yard penalty. We're down.
So delay the game, and they're still kind of going backwards as they're trying to clean up this operation. But there's one thing you definitely want to re-sign your guys. And Deb, you're talking about winning Super Bowls and doing that with keeping the guys in-house. In today's world in the NFL, it's keeping your guys, but it's also making the right free agent acquisitions. We saw a few years ago where the Rams were like, screw all of the picks, and they brought guys in, and they were able to win a Super Bowl with a guy like Matthew Stafford. So I do think to your point, Elliott Wolf going after Calvin Ridley, being in the conversations about Brandon Ayuk. Those are the things that this front office realized, yeah, we need to keep our guys, but we also